Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing from Mariba, and we're here to talk about Anthony Joshua's next move. So as we all know, Alexander Usyk defeated Tyson Fury to become the first undisputed heavyweight champion in the four-belt era. It's been 25 years since we had an undisputed heavyweight champion in general, with Lennox Lewis being the last one. And it was a great fight for undisputed, probably the best undisputed fight in the four-belt era thus far. So shout out to Usyk and Fury for putting on a modern-day classic. But sitting ringside watching the fight was Anthony Joshua, and he was sitting next to Turki Al-Sheikh, the man who sponsored the entire fight card. What makes this important is that Turki is a big fan of AJ and has already sponsored and promoted two of his fights in Saudi Arabia, the Ngannou fight and the Day of Reckoning card. So it's safe to assume he's interested in making AJ fight the winner of Usyk and Fury. But is it possible? And if not, what's AJ's next move? Let's explore his options. Fury has the ability to activate a rematch clause. If done, then the rematch will most likely happen in October. He said he wanted the immediate rematch in the ring during the post-fight interview, but he said he'll consider his options in the post-fight press conference. So as of now, it's unclear if the rematch will happen, but based on Fury's history and temperament, I'm certain he'll rematch Usyk. That fight was very competitive, and it was close in my opinion. Fury had a lot of success in this fight, and hurt Usyk in the 6th round. If he'd made the right adjustments, he could have won this fight. Fury even believes that he won the fight and suggested that they gave the win to Usyk because of politics. Hearing all of this lets me know that he wants to rematch, so I doubt AJ will fight either one. But if the rematch does not happen, then Fury will most likely be AJ's next opponent. Usyk has already beat AJ twice. I don't see him rushing to fight AJ again unless there's a good reason to. Fury, on the other hand, has a good reason why. Both are the biggest UK heavyweights, and both have called each other out. A domestic clash between the two would be a huge and lucrative fight for both fighters. It's a payday and legacy fight, and it would prove who's the best UK heavyweight of this generation. Eddie Hearn wanted Fury to beat Usyk so he could have his domestic showdown with AJ. Hearn has always been confident in AJ beating Fury, so I'm certain that Hearn would still be open to that fight despite Fury losing. But as stated before, this is highly unlikely. The most likely fight for AJ next is the winner of Filip Hrgović versus Daniel Dubois. They'll be fighting on the 5 vs 5 card on June 1st, and they'll be fighting for the vacant IBF title. Usyk is said to be stripped of the IBF title because he did not satisfy his mandatory fight with Hrgović, and at first, this may seem unfair since Usyk just became undisputed and how inconsistent the IBF can be when it comes to enforcing their rules and stripping their champions. However, Hrgović has been Usyk's mandatory for the last 2 years. He's waited a long time for this title fight, and Usyk could have fought him last year, but Usyk picked Dubois instead, which was his WBA mandatory. So it's understandable why Usyk will get stripped. But this is an ideal situation for AJ. Fighting the winner will give AJ the opportunity to become a 3-time heavyweight champion, which is a great feat, and it would be a winnable fight whether he faces Hrgović or Dubois. Both of these guys would jump at an opportunity to fight AJ since it would be their biggest fight and biggest payday, especially Hrgović since he's a matchroom fighter like AJ. So expect AJ to fight either one of these guys in the fall. However, the winner of Wilder vs Zhang on the 5 vs 5 card could steal the show and be the next opponent for AJ. A Wilder vs AJ fight is long overdue. They should have fought for Undisputed in 2018-2019, but politics and money prevented it. The losses that they took since then has killed a lot of the hype surrounding that potential matchup, but if Wilder knocks out Zhang, then Wilder's stock goes up immensely and he'll be considered a top heavyweight again, and fans would be open to see him fight AJ. And because of their history, this would be an easy fight to promote and sell. Both guys stated that they still want to fight each other too, since it would be a legacy fight for both. It would be a huge and lucrative fight for both fighters, and it's a winnable fight for AJ. The only problem is that Wilder is scheduled to fight Jared Anderson in August on a Crawford vs Madrimov card if he beats Zhang. I don't know if he already signed a contract, but I'm certain he would scrap that fight with Jared Anderson to fight AJ instead. A Zhang fight would also be huge. If Zhang beats Wilder, Zhang's stock and fan interest will hit an all-time high. He'll be considered a national hero and a sports god in China. And if they play their cards right, Team Zhang could entice an AJ fight. AJ beat Zhang in the Olympics, so there is a backstory that they could sell and use to promote the fight. But the most important thing in my opinion is convincing AJ to fight in China. China has the biggest population in the world with about 1.4 billion people and is a rich country. They could easily fill up a stadium and get a huge payday over there. It would be a historic fight and would enhance the legacy of AJ, and it's a winnable fight for AJ as well. Or maybe AJ can rematch Joseph Parker. Parker defeated both Wilder and Zhang in his last 2 fights. This could be a compelling fight for AJ since Parker's career had a resurgence, but compared to the other names mentioned, Parker has the least leverage out of all of them. He doesn't have a belt to offer, he's not a lucrative name, and he's from New Zealand, a country that doesn't have a big or deep boxing fan base. Outside of legacy, AJ gains nothing from fighting Parker. In summary, AJ has a lot of potential opponents for his next fight. Usyk, Fury, Hrgovic, Dubois, Wilder, Zhang, Parker, but the most realistic option is the winner of Hrgovic versus Dubois. If AJ is able to win the IBF title and become a 3 times heavyweight champion, I have a strong feeling we'll see an Usyk trilogy in early 2025. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing from Madiba. Like, subscribe, and more content's on your way.